Nolan,
DJ,
Andrea,
Maddie,
Jason.
Princess.
Are you a high school student? Well, at my high school, as of a week ago, over 10 students were suspended for having a Juul. What is a Juul? A Juul is an e-cigarette that contains high levels of nicotine. The Juul addiction is sweeping the teenage world, and many children are being introduced to these highly addictive amounts of nicotine. Juul was co-founded by two former cigarette smokers, Adam Bowden and James Monsees. They made Juul as an alternative to smoking. It was more discreet but still contained the same amount of nicotine. Juul products are meant to target anywhere from the ages 18 to 24, which is still an age where the brain is still developing. However, many young high school students are juuling excessively, which is creating a nicotine addiction early on in life. Teenagers do not have the money to feed an addiction this early on in life. A nicotine pouches that goes into the Juul or vape cost close to $20, which is a week's worth of groceries as a college student. This is creating an addiction that will not only affect your health later on in life, but will affect the way people view you and the time you're able to spend doing your hobbies or spending time with your children. This topic is very personal to me. I have had a parent that is addicted to nicotine in the form of cigarettes. As a child, I look back and notice all the time and money that you could spend on other things, but instead you're just fueling your addiction. It affected me personally, as the time I spent with him was not as valuable because it was short. Because of the nicotine epidemic sweeping the teenage generation, it's becoming a public health and safety hazard that will harm the majority of the upcoming generations. Today we are going to cover two main issues nicotine causes, which is addiction and health issues, and address a couple ways to publicly fight against them. The nicotine addiction in teenagers will lead to health problems later on in life. According to the Medical Minute, Hazards of Juuling and Vaping, July 3, 2018, Scott Gilbert claims, Juuling side effects include increased heart rate, blood pressure, lung disease, chronic bronchitis, which will lead to type 2 diabetes. This explains how any type of nicotine can severely harm your lungs. Right here, we have an inhalant, which the e-juice will create pockets in your lung, creating a disease known as popcorn lung, which is very fatal. According to insight from Dana-Farber, a cancer institute, does nicotine cause cancer? July 2018. In 2009, the Food and Drug Administration detected cancer-causing chemicals, including one used in antifreeze, in the two leading brands of e-cigarettes, which have 18 types of cartridges. In 2014, a study found aerosol from e-cigarettes had a higher voltage level contains more than carcinogen formaldehyde. That is insane. Along with the health problems, this can also affect you later on in life due to the addiction to nicotine. The addiction will grow with time, and it can begin to control your everyday life and alter your relationships with the people you love. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine and National Institutes of Health of 2011, nicotine addiction, past and present, and reclaimed, the U.S. Surgeon General of 2010 has concluded nicotine to be as addictive as cocaine or heroin. Nicotine interacts with the nicotinic acetylcholine receptors and stimulates the dopaminergic transmission. Here it shows that high school students have increased nicotine use from 6.3% to 19% in the past 2 years. This explains why escaping addiction is so difficult, especially when we're addressing teenagers who are very young and impressionable. Juul targets towards these young teenagers with their fun, fruity flavors, such as mint, mango, and fruit medley. The colors are meant to target the younger audience. Avoiding the addiction may be difficult, as many teenagers and young adults have e-cigarettes for fun. Let's talk about ways you can stand up against this problematic trend. Healthy users understand what they are really putting into their body. According to Jamie Dutchhound, a writer for Time Health of March 2018, each Juul cartridge, which is this small thing right here, about the size of the top of your finger, which lasts 200 puffs, has as much nicotine as a pack of cigarettes, an entire pack of cigarettes in one of these. Help them really understand the physical detriment which nicotine causes. The formaldehyde is known to affect your eyes, potentially affecting your vision. Also, it can hurt your hobbies. For example, I like to go to the gym. If I was to ever do this, it would hurt my lungs and just cause really bad life decisions. Now for a quick review of what we have learned. We have learned about the overall health effects of the high amount of nicotine, how we can face this addiction and why people get addicted, and how we are going to spread awareness about Juuling. I hope you all have learned a very valuable lesson and will stay away from anything like this. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.